Oh, nice room. Very colorful walls. How are you? What are you watching?
Just fun facts.
Huh?
Fun facts. Technical facts about infrared.
Oh, no. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I was watching something like it's just facts on Facebook. Interesting
Interesting.
facts. Yeah.
That is interesting. You know what? I have some interesting facts.
What's that?
Do you know? Wait, I don't know where to start. Well, I can start with something easy. Are you Indian?
Yeah, I am.
That's
Like,
interesting.
yeah, but don't think I'm from the south actually.
Oh,
Have
you
you ever
wait.
heard of Kerala?
Oh, okay. But I need to guess something. If you're from Kerala, right? Are you Karnatakan?
What does that mean?
No,
Not Karnataka. Not Karnataka. Karnataka is basically another state in India. I'm from Kerala, the southernmost
oh, are you Tamil?
state. No, not Tamil. Like Tamil is to the right side of the like south of the Kerala. To the left there is a small state. That's Kerala.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
on the side of the Arabian Ocean.
Oh, are you like Konkani?
What?
Konkani.
Not Konkani. It's
Okay.
Malayali. Mallu. Mallu. We are
Wait.
Mallus.
Oh, are you Malayali, right?
Yeah, Malayali.
That's awesome. I like that. It's nice. I know about the Malayalis. You're like Dravidian, right?
Uh, what? I didn't get you.
Are Malayalis? Are you Dravidian?
Dravidian. The Tamilians and Malayalis, they are from Dravid Empire, like the descendants of Dravid Empire. Yeah,
Yes,
and
that no.
Mughal also. So
The
you do know some history about India.
yes, I do. I
Yeah.
it's interesting because like what I'm doing now I find ancestry in all these things, all these people to be very interesting and important. Um,
Okay.
and I do, and my priority is that I want to talk to people about it so that they know all about it. And you seem to have a pretty good head on the shoulder. You seem to be knowledgeable about this topic.
Uh, Actually, I can't follow your accent. That's the main issue.
Oh,
I think I'm
that's
not
true.
getting.
No, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You seem to understand things already, so that's very good. Um, it's nice. It's nice to talk to people who are on the right track. But it's like if you look to English, the English language, right? Different dialects have a hard time to understand each other. Isn't that true?
So where are you from? America?
Well, actually, I usually lived in Scotland, other parts of Britain, France, and South Africa. And my dialects
Oh,
are basically influenced by all these regions, and that's the
oh,
reason why I
I
speak
got it.
this
I
way.
got it.
And you are from
Yeah,
Kerala.
the accent, the English accent of Indians are quite different than any others. Like, sometimes I'm finding difficulty in understanding. Like, right, I'm in Canada, and I am finding difficulty in understanding what the English people in Canada are talking sometimes.
Mm,
Like, they are too fast. The English is too fast, and we can't grasp what they're saying at all of a sudden.
that makes sense because like we speak like different dialects of English. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
the hardest English to understand is of the Australians, I think.
that makes sense to me, right? That is why it's pretty difficult. I was talking to a guy from New Zealand. It's pretty similar dialect, but it's well, it's easier for us because if you have lived in South Africa, the dialect's a little bit more similar. And if you go to Canada, it's like if you have here South African English right in the middle, and then you have Australian English here, and then you have North American English here. It's like in between, if that makes sense. And that's the reason why it's
Uh,
easy to understand it.
but what we Indians use is the written English type accent. Yeah, we don't follow much pronunciation. We just talk it just how we are like taught in schools and all.
Yeah.
It's just written and we use clear English. Like uh, here they would say if we are saying how are you, like I would say how are you, but here people are saying how are you.
Oh,
Just
like
how are you.
it's funny because
It's like a flow.
yeah, yeah, because I usually say like how are you or like how's it, because in South Africa people say how's it a lot of the things. And
And
you,
how you doing? How you doing? With
yeah,
G silent.
what was that?
Like greeting someone when we are greeting something, someone would ask me, "How you doing?" With how you doing?
Yes,
He would say, "How you doing?" And they would be like, "How you doing?" With the G would be silent, and we would be, what?
yeah, it's hard to understand. It's also kind of funny because if you go to North America, they basically pronounce all the A's as E. They basically say like banana, tomato, and potato, right? But we usually say potato, banana, and tomato.
Yeah, we Indians use potato.
Yeah, exactly right. Your dialect is like this, and it's like different.
Potato.
But you can see the difference between like there are the like tomato and there is tomato. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a difference. And when people say tomato, I'm like, what? That's weird. Like I understand it, but it sounds weird to me because I'm what people saying tomato.
So what are you doing? Like studying or graduated already?
Well, I'm sort of in between because I did graduate my previous education and now I'm applying for a university. Um, and that's probably gonna start next year. Or
Oh,
maybe earlier. It depends.
okay. Like I'm doing my post graduation in Canada. I'm an international student here.
Oh, that's nice. It's nice. I like international students. Uh,
Uh, I'm a mechanical engineer graduate from India.
that is cool. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so I'm more into the technical side. So what I always do is like there is some page called uh, it's just always they upload videos of science facts about infrared, about motion and all, and I would be always watching their videos. Like
Oh, no, that makes sense because I'm like, it's good that you do this because then, like me, can, because I'm more interested into facts like about human genetic diversity and biology and like ancestry. That's my field, right? I'm going to study anthropology.
anthropology. I have heard about it, but I don't know what exactly it is.
It is
Anthropology.
basically studying about human and like human culture and like human behavior and like um
Um,
history, like
Interesting.
people. Does that make sense? It's really hard to explain. Uh, Even though I like anthropology, it's more like the field is very broad. It contains the subject I'm interested into, right? But it's mainly the part of it that I'm interested into, the things I
Yeah,
want to study
anthropology is a
anthropology.
scientific study of humanity concerned with human behavior, human biology. Yeah, I
Yes.
just googled it. Yeah, I
Good,
got
good,
it.
good. It's much better answer than I could give.
Yeah, yeah, but my passion is about like I'm very good at technical things like engineering things, repairing stuff, like studying its mechanism, and also it was my passion that led me to graduate as a mechanical engineer, and now I'm doing my qualifications because I was working back in India for 2 years as site engineer, but the jobs there are not much rewarding. We would only get like eight, eight, 80 rupees. That's not enough for a normal Indian to live there. So what I did was I just invested some money, took some loan, applied for a college in here, got admitted to one of the nice best colleges in Canada. I just came here now. Now it's better. Like I think there is much scope for what I'm studying. I'm doing my mainstream is quality assurance.
That's very good. But it's also like Western countries are a bit weird to me. Like I think there are a lot of ideas that are going around in Western countries are like kind of bad, if that makes sense.
I didn't get you.
Like it's a lot of people um because I basically like all the human diversity, right? Because there's so many different peoples in the world, right? And there's a large push in Western countries, particular at the moment, to take people and then put them against one another, and that's a problem, and we need to reject that, right?
Yeah, okay, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, now, yeah, many people and some are ethnic to some countries. Like previously, like years ago, there was only English people in America or in Canada, and in Australia there are Australian people. Each looks different, speaks different, different tastes. Like they're always different. But right now, if you see, there are Americans in India, Indians in America,
yeah,
and take Australia. Like uh, there are all types of people, different types of people from different countries migrate to another countries, and we can find if we take Canada, we can find Koreans here, Chinese people, or Nigerian people, African people. Like now, the world, the access to different parts of the world was made easier, like the technology and all.
yeah. um
For you to study, for I was talking that for you to study human diversity, you can just see and watch people that are in your country. You can see many diversities of people. Like they might have some of them have migrated from their country to your country, so you can see their culture would be different. Always, how many years they have lived in your country, the culture would be same as that from where they have grown, where they are born and brought up.
well, I guess that kind of makes sense, but it's also true, right? Because me, like, I know my mother's side, we are mainly German, right? um and on my dad's side, I'm mainly German and Greek Cypriot, right? And Swedish too, right? But on my dad's side, I'm Scottish, right? um and regardless of where I would be born, right, I'm still going to be a German and a Scottish, regardless of where in the world I'm born and where I live, right?
Okay.
But that's good because we like diversity. Just like, um, regardless of where you would live in the world, when if you have a if you have like a family, right, and you have like a children, right, those children are also going to be Malayali, regardless of where in the world they're born. Does that make sense?
And now it's we can't assure that people that a Malayali should marry another Malayali. Now, like I
That's
have
good.
seen many people, many Indians marrying English people, and many English people marrying Indian,
Oh, and then you
many
get the
Korean.
Anglo Indians.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what happened if you have an English person, Indian person having kid together.
Yeah, yeah.
You have
The
an Anglo
same thing,
Indian.
have been practicing in all other countries, but now
Hmm.
it's started to take effect in India also.
Wait, it's happening more in India.
Like Indians, they earlier like take 5 years back, they would most of the people only would marry someone from India only. They
Okay.
wouldn't marry someone from another country now. But right now they are starting to like, no matter what, they are human. Why should it be an India to get married to? If you like them, marry them. That's it.
That
Now
makes sense.
people are being more liberal.
Yeah, like if basically people can marry like whoever they want, right? Because, um, but it's good. But if some people only want to marry their own people, that's also good as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like if they want to, if someone, for example, say, um, if someone if I were to say, you know what, I am of German or a Scottish person, right, and I
like
only want to
okay,
marry other
like
people who are that way.
yeah,
If I were to say that, would be fine. Like I am open to marry other people, but if somebody says that they only want to marry their own people, that's fine too, right?
yeah, it is. Like take your parents. Like they are from two different
Yeah.
culture. Still they are married because they like
Hmm.
each other.
No, it's fine. You can
But
do it if you want. It's good because then
okay,
you have me.
this idea was like not allowed in India some years back.
But
So
if you
there would
don't,
be
if you don't mind me asking something, right? Is it considered taboo, or is it accepted for someone who's Malayali to marry someone who is Tamil or Punjabi or Gujarati? What would they say if they would the family accept
Like
that?
right now, there is no problem in marrying people from another state or another country. There is now it's not at all a problem because now most of the people back in India are literate. So the taboo existed when they are not literate. When they are having no knowledge about the people uh, that's outside India and so on. That's my friend.
Oh, nice.
Like,
Is he also Malayali?
yeah, he's also Malayali, but
Oh,
do you know,
nice.
like,
Wait, can I hear you
in,
guys? Can you guys speak Malayali to each other? So I want to hear how it sounds.
like if you, yeah, like I'm asking you, how are you? In
Yeah,
Malayalam, we would just ask Sugamano. That's it.
that's
Sugamano.
difficult.
That's it. How are you, Sugamano?
It's nice that you can speak that because I can't speak any German, Greek, or Gaelic, so it's like, which is kind of like annoying. So it's good that you have the language. Keep it. It's valuable to have
Yeah,
it.
it's one of the like hardest language to speak because we do have some words or like letters that's hard for other people to say, like ra,
Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose.
alapura. Like most of the English people, when I ask them to say this name, they would like alapuza. Like I would try saying it, try pronouncing it.
I can't try. Alapusa.
It's not alapuza, it's alapura.
Alapura.
Alapura, yeah.
Alapura.
Yeah, that's you got it.
Ah, thanks.
But most of the people find it difficult to say like that, like what you said now.
Yeah, I'm practicing a lot of learning how to speak and read in different languages. So I'm trying to master it pretty well. So I've been learning that for a while now.
Like it's a fun fact, but if someone is talking to you and you didn't hear him properly, so what you guys would do is, pardon, can you come again? Or I'm sorry, I didn't hear you properly. You would say like that. But for us, if we are talking to someone and we didn't hear them properly, we would just like say, eh? That's it.
Yeah, because we also said, huh? Sometimes.
Yeah, eh? Then they would repeat it again. That's it.
Interesting. But when you marry someone, do you plan to marry someone who is also Malayali, or do you plan to marry someone who's not Malayali, or do you don't care?
I don't care. I just only want my life partner to be like my best friend.
That's
So
a
that's
good.
the reason I'm still single. I'm still
That
single.
makes sense. Don't
Yeah.
settle for a woman
Yeah,
who's
for me to lead a life like a martial life, I need to get a vibe from my life partner that matches me. Like we should have the same wavelength in everything. So I haven't found anyone with the same wavelength that I have.
Yeah, I basically want to have someone with the same values as me. And that is that, like, I do find heritage to be very important. Like, not people, the kids needs to be aware of like
But to be
their
frank,
heritage.
my parents would like oppose me marrying a girl that's not Malayali.
That
Definitely,
makes
a
sense.
little of opposition would be there. But still, if they like, if I talk to them and make them understand, they would be okay with it
Yeah.
because this is the girl I like, and I like her very much. So they should like understand what I'm feeling and should let me live my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, but earlier this was not the like what we say, not the condition. Like parents would oppose it, they won't allow, and we won't have any option. We would have to like marry some girl that they would find based on the uh, heritage and other things, heritage and culture. Yeah.
No, that actually makes sense because you know what I think you should do. I think what you should do, you should try and find a woman that you try to find a woman, right? But then if you don't find a woman for a long time period, then let your parents find a woman for you if you don't find one in the meantime. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I also had a serious conversation with my mom regarding that. Because they always would ask me, like, am I in a relationship? Then I would say no. Like I told them that when I'm of like 27 or 28 years old, if I'm not in a relationship, then you can just find a girl and just don't tell the girl or the family that they are interested in that we are interested in having a daughter-in-law like you. They should send. I ask them to like show the girl to me. I would just go and propose her, and just I would get a chance to know more about her.
That's very good, because your parents, they have a good point, because if your parents prefer that you want to that you marry another Malayali, that's very good, right? But like people, like for example, when I have kids, I prefer them to marry someone of the same people as me, right? But if they rather marry another person, I will be fine with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it.
So like you prefer, they want, I thought that you can
Yeah,
prefer.
they did like we are here, we are having a better life. It's all because of them. So they ought to have like a voice in our life, in our decisions.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
okay to for them to have a preference that in our life.
yeah, exactly right. Because
Uh,
it's like they prefer you to have a Malayali woman, which makes perfect sense. But if you have another woman, that'll be also fine, right?
okay, like in Western countries from earlier ages itself, it's love before marriage. But at the same time, at the same timeline, back in India, it was love after marriage.
What was?
Like take 2010 or something. In that time, it was in most of the Western countries, it was like love before marriage. Like most of them would be in a relationship and eventually they would marry, right?
Yeah.
Like around 90 or 80% people would be having a love marriage, right? Yeah, but
That makes sense.
back in India, when it was 2010, 2008 or something, it was almost the time was not that liberal, and there would be like love after marriage. Like the parents would find a girl for a boy, they would marry, and they would they would get to know each other after marriage, and they would fall in love with each other after
Yeah, that
marriage.
makes sense. That's very logical. Um, like for me, like I do want to prefer to have kids with someone like of my own people, because I want my own people to keep existing in the future, right? It's very logical. If your parents want you to marry another Malayali, it makes sense, because then there will be more Malayalis in the future, and that's good, right?
Yeah, it is. But if your community or your people are minority, like less in numbers, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay,
You
fine.
can,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
But like India, no, Kerala, where Malayalis exist, it's a state. Like Canada is three times India,
yeah, that makes sense.
three times larger country than India. But the population in Canada is just famous that of Kerala, which is only a state,
Yeah,
one of the
it's
state
very.
in 14 states in India. No, yeah, 14 states in India. See the difference. Like around 40%, if 40% of the Malayalis marry a girl or a boy from another country or another state, still they would exist because the 60 percentage is like a great number. It's
Yeah,
very popular.
no, that makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, it's actually very logical. But I actually would say that if you compare the Western way of meeting someone, it's actually the way you do it in India. You arrange marriages. In many ways, it's actually more logical. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is. Arranged marriage is much many way logical. Like uh, in India, the divorce rate is more if it is a love marriage. So if I love a girl, I just ask my parents that if I can marry her, and they would okay, they would just give me consent to marry her. And in future, if something happens, if any clash happens, and it would eventually end up in divorce, the parents and the relatives would always blame me for loving a girl. Yeah, it exists in India.
Oh yeah.
So like we can't predict our future, even if it is a love marriage or even if it is an arranged marriage. We can't predict our future. If it could last long, could be a break in between. That
Yeah,
depends on the
because like yeah, that makes sense. Like the person used to like have a hard time following, but
yeah.
it's very logical. Yeah, but like it is very because it's very for me, for most people, right? We do want our genetics to exist in the future, right?
Yeah,
And because of that, when we do want to, a lot of people want people that their own people to have a lot of kids, right? Or not enough, but to have a lot of kids so that they keep existing in the future, right?
yeah. Genetics. It would like get passed on by generations, but what we should care about is the culture. We should bring let our culture die. That's what I'm more concerned about. Even if I'm marrying an English woman, still I would teach our like son or daughter how my culture is and how my life partner's culture is.
Yeah, but that's
I won't
good.
let them, I won't let them forget from what culture I have been growing in. So I want my kids to understand the culture of a Malayali and the culture of their mother.
Your microphone became a little bit muffled.
Okay, like
Oh, now
my
I can hear
elbow
you.
is yeah. Like I want my kids, even if I'm marrying a non-Indian woman, I would want my kids to know my culture and as well as my life partner's culture.
No, that makes perfect sense. It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
genetics, it can be choosy. Like for me, if we are having two kids, either if one kid can be like have genetics like me, as like an Indian, and the other would be having genetics like my life partner. Looks like
Oh yeah.
looks. She can be like more like English people. Yeah, it depends. It's genes and other things.
Yeah, but
We can't do anything about it.
they usually end up being a little. It's funny because if a kid gets born, right, they end up being more like the daddy, like an appearance wise, because the dad needs to recognize the kid, right, when they're born, right? Because before we had marriage, people didn't know. So therefore, if they look like the daddy would care, right? And then when you grow up, you become more and more like both parents. You start out being so much more like your daddy and less like your mother, right? But when you grow up, you become a little bit more like both, right? So if you're an adult male, you're pretty much like both daddy and mother. But if you're a
Yeah,
woman and you grow up, right? And but if you because women doesn't grow up they don't change their appearance as much as men do when they're an adult compared to when they're children, right?
yeah,
They still end up looking more like their dad than their mother when they're an adult, whereas boys end up looking more like their mommy and daddy when they're adult. Does that make sense?
yeah. They do. Like I have some of the pictures from my dad. My complexion is my mother's. My hair is like my father's, and my body it's also like father's.
Yeah,
And my face is like my mother's, I think.
it's like me. Like you see this hair, like this curly hair. It's the Cyprus Greek hair, right, from my mother, right? But like I'm like tall. I'm very tall, right, from my dad, right? like, and also my pale Scottish people are pale, right? And see how pale I am,
Yeah,
right? And I'm pale like Scottish people, and I have separate curly hair like my mom's family. So it's like I do. It's you see, I have the both in me.
yeah. Like my parents are short. They don't have much height, but I'm taller than them. They are like 5'4" or 5'5", but I am 5'9", 5'9" or 5'10".
That's good. Well, it's good that you're
Yeah,
taller than your parents because I'm pretty short.
I think that's because from my father's ancestors, they were tall. Only my father is short. Just because my father's mother is short. My
Oh,
father may uh, like if my father is short just because I think his mother is short. His mother is just like 5 feet or something tall, not 5 feet, 5 feet or something.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but my grandfather is much taller. He's just like 5'8" or 5'9", I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
but
Like
it's also
some of the genomes, some of the genetics that's been passed on generations would get capped in between, just like me.
yeah,
Like my grandfather was tall, but my father is short. Then after my father, it's me. I'm tall.
because you have like a lot of genes within you, and then not all of the genes are being expressed.
Yeah, it's
But
mixed. Like it's the XY chromosome and the DNA. Like it gets rebuilt. Only a trace of my father's would be left in my DNA. Like if for do you know about DNA test? They would be like checking for a DNA test. They would be like looking for the similarity in the DNA. So my DNA would not be exact as my father's. There would be some changes, which I got, which is because which would be added up, which might have been added up from my mother's DNA.
yeah, that
Like
makes
us,
sense because we're
yeah,
50% dad and 50% mother. But if you look at males, the Y chromosome is shorter than the X chromosome. So we are technically genetically more like the mom, but whereas girls are just like most the same amount of DNA from both parents.
yeah, it depends, but because uh, it's something that's unpredictable, actually.
No, that's true because like you have the same DNA from both parents, but not all of it is going to be expressed in you as a person.
Yeah,
It's like different. You have a genotype, right? Genome, and then it's different phenotypes that's being expressed, and that's different depending on. Yeah, that's different depending on the individual. The two individuals
yeah,
can have.
yeah. I know a little about the biology, the genetic center, because in India, in India, the education system is more like focused. Like they would teach us in deep about biology, genetics, and all the other things in detail in 12th grade or something. Yeah, I took my main was biomaths, in which biology is important.
That sounds
So I
complicated.
know a little bit about biology, the XY chromosome, though what we call it, uh, the not the sex prediction and all. How which of the chromosome result in a boy baby, which of the chromosome result in a girl baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think the XY is mentioning if it is a boy, it's XX. If
No,
it
no, it's the other way. X Y is
okay, okay.
boy and X X is girl.
XY is boy and XX is girl.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how it is. Um,
yeah.
but like, if you don't mind asking, if when you marry someone, do you plan on marrying? Could you marry a woman from any people, or would you prefer some people only?
Like I told, I don't prefer like even if it is white, even if it is like brown people. No, it doesn't matter. All I want is my life partner to be my best friend. Like our minds should be like connected in some way.
Oh, but
Like
that
should
makes
be
sense.
telepathic or something.
No, but
It
very
doesn't
that's
matter.
logical. I basically do feel the same. I want people to, um, like if I want someone, I want to meet them to be like the same, like decent values that I have, and yeah, that's what important to me. If that makes sense.
Even if I fall in love with a girl that's white, and there is better understanding and she can understand me and I can understand her, I would definitely go for her for the rest of my life.
That
Yeah, I
makes
would
that
definitely.
makes sense. That's good because people love each other. They should be together.
Like that. We don't like. I don't much care about genetics or something. Like we are living our life, so all I want is to live my life to the most I can
No,
get.
well, that's good. But you do want genetics to exist in the future, right?
No. Yeah, I do want to. I do want my genetics to exist in future.
Good.
Because, but that can be like it would exist in future even if I'm marrying a white woman.
Yes,
No,
yes,
no matter what.
because even if the kid is Anglo-Indian, right? That's
Yeah,
still a
if
good
my
because it's
yeah,
still your
like
DNA in the Anglo-Indian kids.
yeah, okay, if uh I'm marrying an English woman and if my kids just looks like her, no, that might be because still my kids would be having my genetics, but it would
Yes.
be like not expressed much, and it might get passed on to their kids. There are chances. So like my genetics won't be
No,
destroyed.
it's gonna survive. It's good. You that's good. You need to keep your and also like there are actually there are so many like there are so many Malayalis in the world, right? So even
Yeah,
if like there's like millions, I think it's like 40 millions, right? So even if like
13 million.
what do you
13
say?
million. 13 million in India. Not Malayalis. There is no 13 million Malayalis. There is like 3 crore.
But
I don't know.
I looked, wasn't it 40 million?
No, no, no.
Are you
That might be Indians. And I don't know.
because I looked up Wikipedia, it says it's 40 million. Well, it's not very important, but like my point is that even if like some people who are Malayalis have kids that are Anglo-Indian, there's still gonna be a lot of Malayalis.
It's 1.6 million Malayalis as of 2013.
Okay, I
Malayali
believe you.
population in the total world. 1.6 million Malayalis are there in the world.
What is that's all? Only 1.6?
Yeah, it is.
Wait, I can't see. What the? Okay, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
I think that there are 130 million Indians.
well, it's not really very important how many there are. My point is that there are many of them, right? So they're still going to exist in the future, which is
Like
good.
in India, there are Malayalis, Punjabis, Gujaratis, um, Karnataka, Telangana, Tamilians. There are many people. Like
I know that it's
in English countries, there are only English people.
well, in
And
Scotland, there are Scottish people like me.
yeah,
Because in
in
England, they
Canada,
have
there are
Scottish.
like okay, in Canada, there are French people
Yeah,
and white people, and in America, there are like Spanish Americans.
yeah, and then
Only
there are
like
like
two or three to the maximum. But in India, there are 14 states and the 14 people. 14 the people in 14 states are different from each other.
yeah,
They
yeah.
speak different language. They
That's
have a
true.
different ethnicity. Yeah,
Yeah, they're all
and
different ethnicities. That's very
yeah,
interesting, but actually, my point is what I was going to make, right? Um, if some people, not all, but some people mix with other people, and then you create new people. Like if an Indian and the English have kids, they create Anglo-Indian, and if an Indian and a Chinese have kids, they create Shindians, right? And then if some people do that, you have more diversity before because then you create new people, and that's good, right?
yeah, that's good. Bro,
It's,
I have to go home at dinner. It's already like 9 in the night here. Okay, so I have to leave right now.
mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, it was very nice talking to you.
yeah, nice meeting you.
Yeah, and I hope everything you want pans out the way you want it to.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Like, what time is it then?
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I
bro.
went up a little bit late. But I've been sitting here for like 3 hours because it was so funny.
Okay, okay, bro. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.